Welcome to another episode of the Roughly Related to Reselling podcast. This is episode 111. I had an issue. I've been trying to upload this podcast since last week, and I've not been able to do it. I don't know what's going on. I've been trying to reach out to Riverside, who hosts the podcast, but this is a new hosting platform, and it's not been ideal, so I might have to find another hosting platform. For some reason, I couldn't get the video to upload. So I started recording the audio like a couple minutes in like an idiot. So there's not much. It's just basically the intro that was missed. So I'm going to get into that episode now, and hopefully I have it figured out by this week. But there will be 2 episodes this week. So this will be the episode from last week, and then there'll be another one that I'm going to record tomorrow. So enjoy. Right now, just in case we have like an audio failure, but I'm going to be uploading the actual video. So it didn't even occur to me that I should just do both. I was like, I don't need to record on the audio anymore because I don't even use it. I just use the audio right from the video now. And I was like, well, maybe I should just do that anyway. Sorry. Anyway, I was fully 100% expecting to do a podcast last week, and I did record a podcast last week. I was with some friends, and we didn't do a ton of partying. You know, I'm not like a huge party guy anymore. For one, I don't like being hungover with my kids. Not like for my sake. It sucks. I hate the feeling of being hungover. And 2, when you're hungover, you're just like, you're not really having as much fun with your kids as you could be having. You're like fucking dehydrated and you feel like shit. And sometimes you have diarrhea, the usual. And so I'm not like, I didn't even I was pretty good all week. I don't think there was any day that I woke up and was like, oh man, I'm hungover. There was one day that like I did feel slightly hungover, and I feel like it was like the day that I drank the least. But we went. What did I have? We were in like the middle of like nowhere, Washington, so you can kind of get away with things that you probably shouldn't do. So I was a passenger in a vehicle, and so I had a beer on the way to our dinner while we were driving there. And then when we got there, I had I was just gonna like have a couple beers because I was driving back. But they had these. It was at the I used to work at this resort. It's out in Washington called Alderbrook, and it's like a really nice resort on Hood Canal, so you can see, Hood Canal from the back of the property, and then there's like you can see like there's like 5 different mountain ranges that you can see. I can't remember all of the names. We went through them at dinner, but so we we went down there, and so I didn't have a ton, but they had this drink that they made. It was like not a Manhattan. It was an old fashioned, but he like lit it on fire. So he smoked it, and then he put this like piece of wood on top. So it was like smoking. So all the smoke gets trapped in the drink, and you just leave the wood. So he hands you the drink with the wood on top, and there's like 3 little marshmallows in it. So that was really good. I wanted to. So that was the only one of those I had, and then I had like maybe 1 or 2 more beers. Like, I made sure I had plenty of time before we were driving because I don't like drinking and driving with my kids in the car, especially with my kids in the car. I don't like drinking and driving at all anymore. I used to love it, not going to lie. And so, I stopped drinking. We hung out for a bit, let the kids run around. It was like 9:30 when we finally left. Like, it was crazy. Like, the time doesn't move there because it wasn't dark yet. We're like sitting there having dinner. Like, I look at the clock. I'm like, yo, it's 9:30 right now. It still was like fucking bright out. I forgot about how, like, well, that's part of Washington I do like in the summer is like it stays lighter longer. But then, yeah, with kids, you're like, holy shit, it's fucking 9:30. and it took like an hour to get back to the house. So we get back to the house, get them to bed. Dude, they were fucking exhausted because you can at Alderbrook there's like, you know, a little beach. So we took them down to the beach. They were skipping rocks and running around. My wife's friend met up with her kids, so they were running around and playing. So that was a lot of fun. I don't even know why I started talking about Alderbrook, just because I was talking about drinking. So yeah, I didn't really drink a ton last week, but one of the nights that we did drink, and I didn't, again, it was another night I didn't get like hungover. I was more tired because we went to bed late. But we were hanging out and one of our friends was like, hey, we've got a couple Adderalls. So I was like, I didn't really want to do it that night. I wanted to do it like another night where we could stay up late, but like, you know, it was kind of like one of those last second impulse decisions. So, oh man, this freaking baby monitor's about to die. And so sorry, this thing's about to die. I'm just going to shut it off because it's going to die here and it's just going to keep beeping. Anyway, sorry. What was I getting at? Oh yeah, so we took an Adderall and we were having some drinks and shit. And then it got to the point where I was like, oh, we should do the podcast because I'm not going to have a chance to do the podcast any of the other days, this, that, and the other. So we decided to do a podcast at like, it had to have been like around midnight. I think it was Tuesday night at midnight. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. Yeah. Potty training's going well, at least. You know? She's calling me when she has to take a shit, which is nice. So, yeah, anyway. So we did it, had a little bit of Adderall. And yeah, I just felt like I'll probably release the episode at some point on like behind a paywall at some point as like an extra episode once I start doing bonus episodes. You know, once my daughter in the fall will be in preschool, so I have some more time to record more podcasts, which is going to be fucking awesome. I'll have more time to edit videos and all that stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, the episode was just I could feel myself like halfway through it just being like, I'm annoying as fuck. Because it was like, I was trying to convince my friend to start selling on Whatnot. And I just sound like a total cuck for Whatnot. And I got like halfway through it and I was just like, I was annoyed with myself. So I'll probably release it as like a bonus episode eventually, but I didn't want to release that as the episode. And we didn't record any video for it. We just did audio because we were like in the middle of, we were in my friend's garage and it's like in the middle of nowhere and there's no service. So we just basically had to record it onto the iPhone. That's where it lives right now. And I'll upload it and I'll download it and save it. And then one day I'll release that eventually. I promise you're not really missing out on much, but I do feel bad because I was trying to get an episode of the podcast in, but it's hard when you're on vacation. You're not home. I didn't want to bring all my equipment. We had a ton of stuff that we had to bring back. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I didn't want to end up bringing out my equipment because I would have had to check all that stuff. And, you know, I didn't want to put it into my checked luggage because who knows. I put the PlayStation Portable in my checked luggage on the way home, and I was like, I didn't mean to. I meant to put it in my carry-on, and the whole time I was like, fuck, this thing's not going to get back to me. Like, they're just going to take the whole bag because they're going to know it's in there. But it came back, and then I left it on the shuttle to the parking lot and had to fucking drive like an hour each way to get it the next day after we got back at like late that night, late Saturday. So that was annoying. But other than that, you know, it was a good family trip. We had a great time. We went to this place on Tuesday. Monday. I think it was Monday. It was like the first day. It was pretty rainy, but it was like, you know, perfect Pacific Northwest weather. It wasn't like, you know, pouring. It was just like kind of a light drizzle most of the day. It was gray. and we went to this place. Did I say the name already? Northwest Trek. So it's like this land that these people owned back in the day, and they donated it to this company, just because they didn't want like corporations or anything like that taking the land and getting rid of it. And so they basically like explain how they took this land that was like, had really nothing there, and they started like bringing animals in, and now it's like a fully like it's like the fucking it's like a rain like a wild forest. You know what I mean? It's like there's all these animals you could see. There's some stuff that's like enclosed. They had some of the animals not even enclosed. Like I feel like the animals could get back and forth, but there were some grizzlies, and the distance between you and them at this place was not that far, and you think that they could probably get past it was just like a little electric fence they had, and then like a little dip. But I'm like, there wasn't even a fence between us. It was just like a little metal wood thing that like if this fucking grizzly wanted to climb over, it would have no problem doing it. So there was like bald eagles and all that shit. So we were, worried because my daughter was upset that she was missing her field trip. So she was, we lucked out because my wife's friend was like, oh, my friend her daughter is going on a field trip to this place, and she said we could just go. We'd have to pay for it, but we could just go and tag along, and like walk with them. So that's what we did. And they were cool with it. They like let us walk with them, and then we had to like take separate trams. They have like a little tram thing that takes you around the park, but then there's this cool like outside playground where it's like it's not like a traditional playground. There's like there's slides and stuff, but it was like sorry about that. It was like this shit in this tree, and you could climb in this big tree thing, and it was really cool. So that was like a cool first day. And then the next day we went and hung out at my wife's friend's house. It was like raining off and on all day. She's got a nice like property. We used to actually live on this property like when we first moved to Washington. So that was the property that we went to originally, that we were like, oh, this is like, we want to move out here. It's a really, really nice property. It like overlooks Mount Rainier and like Steamboat Island. It's a really, really cool property. Yeah. So we did that. What else did we do? We went to this children's museum on Wednesday, which was one of the better ones I've ever been to. There was like an outside part of it, and then like inside. So that was actually really cool. They sorry, I don't know why I'm yawning all of a sudden. I'm not even that tired. The kids loved it, so that was a good time. And so my buddy had his daughter meet us, and her daughter brought her boyfriend's son, who's like around the same age as my youngest. So he was kind of like in between my girls. So we did that, and then that night we went back to, that was that night. So that night we went back to his house and did a little fire so the kids could get s'mores. And that little boy came back over with my friend's daughter. And they were running around playing and shit, and so then at the end of the night, I was talking to my little one who's like 3, and I was like, hey, what was your favorite part of the day? I always ask her like, what was your favorite part of the day? And she was like, him. She just looked at me, her eyes got big, and she went, him. I was like, oh fuck, dude, this. She was fucking smitten, dude, by this little boy. So I said we're not allowed to hang out with him again. So we didn't see him again, but not because of that. It didn't work out that we saw him again. But it was just funny. It was like, she was like, him. I was like, damn, dude. No, she didn't even say his name. She just said him. Like, she like knew like exactly like gender, all that stuff. Like, she was like, him. That's who. I was like, damn. So that was Thursday or Wednesday. And then Thursday, then I'll get to this, the good stuff, the reselling stuff. So then Thursday, there was an estate sale that was about 10, it was like 13 minutes, I think, from my friend's place. in the middle of like nowhere. So I tell her his wife wanted to go with me, and I was like telling her I was going to get there early. Like, she's like, well, how early? And I was like, well, like, I don't know, like 7, I think the sale was starting at 9. She was like, no, we'll get there, like, we'll leave at like 7:15. I was like, all right, fine. So we get there and we're number 2. You know, I didn't say anything. Plus, there was a massive Star Wars collection at this place. I wish I would have been able to like buy it all, but the prices were way too high to be able to sell on Whatnot, which is where I would be selling it. And like, I would not, it would have been a huge pain to like bring everything back. So the pricing on top of that. So I did grab a couple small things just because I wanted to grab some of it, and probably won't really make money on them. It was just one of those, like, it was such a crazy Star Wars collection that I was just trying to grab, just because, you know how you like just want to grab something because you know somebody's gonna like take all of it. I don't know, but there was a ton of stuff in this house, so I got that, and then I like was walking around. There's a huge pile of stuffies outside. So after I hit the Star Wars room, I was like, I'm going right to those stuffies, and I got a ton of stuffies, like stuff that people always ask for that we sell. So I got a bunch of those. And then I wanted to go back through it again, but it was just, there was so many stuffies and it was so hot. So I went back in the house, and like at this point, there was the guy who had got there first was like making a deal to buy the rest of the Star Wars shit. And so that, they were starting to clear out that room. And there was another room with like all old vintage toys that like nobody was even looking through like well. So I went through that, and I found like some old Bratz dolls that were like in great condition. I got some other like sealed vintage toys, more stuffies. I found these other, like, if you ever see like Y2K era Barbie or like any girl dolls from like that era that look kind of similar to like Bratz, look them up, because I've found like there's like Barbie My Scene that was around that same time that looks similar to Bratz, and I've sold those for really good money. Bratz obviously do well, but these were called, was it Trendy Teens? So they're a little bit bigger, and like the joints are a little bit looser, but they still, for the price that I paid for them, I still should make some money on them. So I looked those up, and then my friend's wife / she's my friend now too. I mean, but originally she was my friend's wife. But she's interested in like getting into reselling, and so she was kind of looking at this estate sale, like trying to go through stuff. She wanted to make a pile and then have me look at the pile and shit. And so we were like looking stuff up in her pile, and she had a bottle that I think it's like a French Baccarat bottle. I can't remember how you say it. It's something similar to that, but it's it was like a very expensive bottle. Like, I think it was like going for around $400 without any of the other stuff. So she like didn't find any of the glasses that went with it or like the stopper that goes with it, but she found the bottle. And I was like, damn, that's probably a really good find for like, I think she paid $5 for it or something like that. So that was a really good find. Hope she sells that. But there was so much stuff in this house. We went back later on to look for those glasses for her because she was like in the middle of doing shit. So we went back because my wife wanted to check out the sale too. So I was like, all right, let's go look for those glasses, and like you guys can watch the kids or whatever. So we went over there, and this lady was walking in and out of the bathroom. The bathroom in this house was crazy. And the guy who was running the sale said that he like set everything up for the sale, obviously, like staged everything for the sale. But he said that, when he first got there, that you couldn't even move in this place. This guy was kind of full of shit too. Like, I caught him he was like saying to me, he's like, oh, come back tomorrow. Like that whole Star Wars room, it's going to sell out today and it'll be filled back up tomorrow. Come back tomorrow, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, because I was telling him I was looking at clothes, because I was hoping that he would have like Star Wars shirts from that era. You know what I mean? Because in the pictures, there's like a room of Star Wars stuff, and then there's like T-shirts and stuff on the hangers. So I looked at those, and there was literally like all bullshit. And it was a company, so, you have to think that they kind of know what they're looking for. So he's like, oh, tomorrow we'll have like a bunch more men's clothes, this, that, and the other. I was like, all right, so I'll come back tomorrow. So, after so let me get back to this lady who was like bringing out, this lady like basically bought the whole bathroom. I've never seen anybody do that shit. There was cool shit in the bathroom, like drawers and all this type of stuff. But this lady literally bought the whole bathroom. I don't know how much she spent on it, but she paid for the whole. She was like bringing wagon loads of shit in and out of the house. It was crazy. So the next day we went back, and the guy's like, I asked him, I was like, oh, where, where are your men's clothes, blah, 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 whatever. He's like, oh, I didn't really pull too much out. I just pulled out like a little bit, so there's just a small pile, but there's nothing really that you'd probably be interested in, whatever. So like, I was like, all right. And the day before, they made everybody wait until like 9 o'clock on the dot, like for no reason other than to just be a fucking dick. And so he did the same thing on day 2. And like people are getting like annoyed because they're like, it's like it's day 2 of a fucking estate sale. It's hot out. Just let people in the fucking house. So then I go, I'm asking him about the men's clothes, and he's like, oh, this is all that I brought out, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, all right, well, cool. Like, he's like, but tomorrow I'll bring back. I'm like, I'm not coming back for a third day. Like, this is fucking ridiculous. Just bring everything out. Like, what the fuck? You had plenty of time to bring shit out, like, especially between the first and the second day. Like, you were already filling that Star Wars room, and he didn't even barely fill it up the next day. There was not nearly as much Star Wars shit. He was just full shit. He could have put everything in the first fucking day. And then I could hear him telling one of the customers, he's like, yeah, you should have seen the line we had yesterday. There was like 100 people. Like, the line was all the way down the street, blah, 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 blah. Like, and I was like, I was here yesterday. It was not that many people. There was maybe like 25, 30 at the beginning of the sale. And so I was like, I was pretty sure that I was right. That I was like, there was no way that this line was as long as he's telling these people it is. And he was saying this with like uncertainty, like, yeah, hundreds of people here yesterday. It was crazy. And then I ended up randomly seeing their post online about the sale, and because I'm in the picture. He took a picture of like all the people in line. I was first in line or second in line, and I look and I'm like, sure enough, there's like 20 to 25 people, like nowhere near 100. And that was like right before they let everyone in. So I'm like, this guy was just fucking full of shit. Like, I don't even know why you have to lie about that. Like, it's such a weird thing to lie about. You know what I mean? Like, people who go to estate sales prefer a smaller estate sale. So if you're telling people like, oh yeah, we had this many people, it's like, you don't want to lie about that. That's not the thing that you want to lie about. Because if you, a reseller or somebody who's going to buy a lot of your inventory hears it, there's a ton of people there, they might avoid your sale next time. So just anyway, FYI. So yeah, that sale was interesting. And then Friday, so they do more Friday sales. So we were in Washington State, and they do more Friday sales. Like, we do no Friday sales where I'm at. Like, there's every once in a while there's a Friday sale, and most of the time they suck. Like, Friday sales are almost always terrible. Rarely do I find a Friday sale that's like, oh fuck, this is a good sale. But out there, it's like there was a ton of them. So we went to, where do we go first? There was one that was supposed to start at like, I think 8 o'clock. So we got there like 7:40. And like this guy was like not really wanting to, like, he was like, oh, we're not really open yet, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, we're just driving around. Like, I probably won't swing back around, but if you let me take a quick peek now, like, so I'd start looking through stuff, and it's all crazy prices. I'm like, oh, fuck, this is how this day is going to be. So we get to the next one, and we walk in. It's like these very nice ladies, and I found some vintage NASA T-shirts, which I've always done well with vintage NASA. And then I found a 2013 Nine Inch Nails tour T-shirt. So that's cool. I've never found a Nine Inch Nails shirt. I wish it was one from the 90s. That would have been fucking awesome, but I'll take it. I'll take anything Nine Inch Nails. And then there was another sale that had advertised that they had like a bunch of Ray Troll T-shirts. So I started looking those up, and they did pretty well. So I got them for $3 a piece, and I got I bought every one she had. I can't remember how many I paid. I paid $45. So divide that by 3, and you'll get how much I paid. Or wait, yeah, I paid $3 per shirt, $45. You'll divide that by 3, and you'll figure out how many shirts I bought. I suck at math. I'm really bad at it. So then, what else happened? So then that Thursday was the day we went to Alderbrook, and that place is dope. It's a good time. We got some good food. Although the menu is like, they've changed the menu up. I forgot about this part. They changed the menu because it used to be like, you know, they had like a bunch of different shit, and like you could get like the dinner menu, which they still had like the different options, but like, yeah, it was not great, and the pricing on it was fucking nuts. I forget what the price we looked at, because it used to be like somewhat affordable, but now it's like you're paying for fucking. So I was like, damn, dude, if I lived out there, you know, we used to go out there regularly, but like now I'm like, dude, I would not go out there. It's just a regular local, like that's fucking crazy, dude. Like the prices were ridiculous. I wish I could remember what the fuck I'm like. There was an egregious one that was just like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Like they raised the price and gave you less of what they had before. It was like you used to get a lot more, and now it's like a lot less. So it was really, it's whatever, you know, that type of shit happens. So, but then yeah, we got home late that night, and then that was Thursday. So then Friday we went to those sales. Yep. So we went to the Ray Troll one. I bought all those t-shirts. What else did I get? I got a bunch of stuff. I went out with my buddy's mom and his wife. And then we found a neighborhood sale that was like supposed to be 20 plus houses, but a lot of them I think we're going to set up Saturday. So we did find a few things there, nothing crazy. I didn't find any video game stuff, which is, you know, surprising, but I did find a lot of like vintage clothes, stuffies, stuff that was at least easy to ship back, some toys. I'm trying to think of what like some of the crazier finds I found were. I mean, just that like whole collection was cool. But yeah, I found it was like a old brown leather suitcase, and they were giving it away for free at the sale with the Ray Troll t-shirts. So I just took that and I loaded that up, and then I had to put like a couple other things in some of the other bags that we were taking back, but I got everything back that I had bought. Some of the Star Wars figures the boxes got a little bit squished on the ride, but you know, they're not worth a ton anyway, so those will probably just go into whatnot, and hopefully we'll just get our money back. But yeah, that was an impulse buy. I should not have bought it. You know, sometimes you get caught up, you know, you're just like, I don't want this other person to buy every single Star Wars thing, so you just want to buy a couple things just to make it like that much less than it was. I know, I'm so fucking petty. I'm so fucking petty. And then what else did we do? And then Friday, so after sales on Friday, oh yeah, so we were like driving, dude, and we're driving down this road to go to these sales, and there's this quick little like bend turn, and I was driving, and so I go around this turn, and this car is like on my side of the road coming around this turn, so I had to like swerve out of the way to avoid this car. And then as I'm like moving around this car, there's an old lady just walking her dog. Her back is towards me. She's not even looking at like what's going on this blind curve. And so I had to swerve to avoid her, you know, was back on the road. I didn't go off the road. I'm an excellent driver, so that would never happen. But I had to like swerve. And like, of course, I'm with like my buddy's mom and his wife, and they're like, "Oh my god!" They were like, luckily, they were like, "That was definitely not your fault. Like that car almost hit us on," and you know, and then that lady was just standing there like a fucking retard. I don't know what she was doing. She has no idea how close she came to getting fucking 86th or whatever you want to call it. She was just standing there. She had her back to me. I almost fucking flattened her like a pancake. She would have had no idea. She would have been like, what the fuck? We could have just hit her and just kept going. She was not even looking at us at all. But we didn't hit her. We missed her. Thank fucking God. That would have sucked. And then we kept it moving. We did stop at a comic book shop on like Wednesday. I forgot about that. And they had One Piece trading cards. So I opened some One Piece cards. And then when I came back from vacation, I went into Target just this past weekend, and they had One Piece cards too. I was like, holy shit, is this like gonna actually start happening more? And I pulled from what I've been looking up, was probably going to be the chase card for the OP16 set of cards. It's like the Nico Robin SP. It's a sick card, but now I'm like, what the fuck do I do with it? I hate cards because I'm like, I want to sell it, but I don't want to sell it too soon. if I sell it right now, I could probably get like $800 or $900. Like I saw one sold for 900. Most were like in the 750 range, but I feel like if I sold it now, I could probably get like 900. But you know, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I wish it was just a clear answer, but it's all just like guessing. So I think it'll go up eventually. You know, I think I don't think it'll. I think it'll go down. It might go a little bit down, but I don't think it's gonna go down. So then Friday night, we were just like, I was exhausted Friday night because we went to yard sales and then we were just out and about. And then we went to my buddy's dad, my buddy who was staying with, his dad wanted to take my girls and us out to this, to like the creek. They say creek. I say creek, but they're like, no, there's a difference between creek and creek. It looked like a creek to me. You know, that's it. It looked like a creek to me. So we go down by the creek, and because I feel like you have to say it like that when you say creek. You can't just say, "Oh, we went down to the creek." You gotta say, "We went down by the creek," and so the water was fucking hella cold. Like we had to hike in like through like trails that weren't even trails, and then like his dad had like set up like a bench out there like out of driftwood, and like so it was a cool little spot. We went and hung out there for a little bit. Came back, and then I was just like, I had energy up until a certain point. I was like, yeah, we're gonna fucking hang out tonight. It's the last night before we go back. And then I just could not hang. I was so tired. So we had a good week. Like we did a bunch of shit. Like I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of fun shit that we did. But it was a lot of fun, as always. And then, yeah, now I'm back and I'm trying to catch up on work. Because it's just been crazy busy, you know what I mean? Like, since the end of December when my mom died, it's been, like, one fucking thing after the other. Because she passed away. We had to deal with all that. My fucking earphone is, like, digging into my ear. We had to deal with all that. And then, you know, the memorial. And then we got into Next Six Figure Seller. And then we just, like, went from that into... Oh, and I had school. And then go from Next six figure seller to like vacation shortly after that. And then, you know, it's just been, we're going to go pick up our dog tomorrow. So we got to drive to like 2 hours to go pick up our dog, 2 hours there and 2 hours back. So we're going to go out tomorrow and come back Friday to get the dog. We get our new car today. Man, that whole thing, our car fiasco has been like never ending. So, I don't remember where we were at the last time, but our Toyota that we bought like years ago had 61 something thousand miles. And then we brought it in to get like a recall thing done. And while we were there, they're like, there was a noise. So we had asked them like, you know, what that noise was. So they charged us diagnostic fee to fucking look at this noise. And then it turns out it's a transmission, and this fucking guy is like, it turns out it's transmission. So they're like, oh, unfortunately, it's just over the warranty. Like, we're trying to reach out to Toyota to see if they'll cover it, this, that, and the other. And they were just like being fucking assholes, like the dealership was. So I called Toyota. They were being fucking assholes. They wouldn't even talk to me. Like, they wouldn't even put a manager on. The manager was supposed to call me back. They never called me back. Yeah, fuck Toyota. Like, fuck Toyota Dartmouth. Fuck the fat fucking piece of shit manager that was fucking there eating a fucking slab of flatbread. God, that fucking guy sucked. I think I did talk about him because I remember bringing up the flatbread. So yeah, he's just like, oh, you know, even if I could get $2,000 off for you, which like would be a stretch, I could tell that you wouldn't be happy. So why would I do that? Like, this guy was just a fucking cocksucker. Oh my God, I hated this fucking guy. I know all his staff members probably hated him too. And I wish now that I would have been more mean, because yeah, he could have really used like he could have used some comeuppance. And so, because I've worked with that guy, you know what I mean? I could have fucking easily, like, you know, I could have easily ripped him a fucking new one and like made it hurt, because I know you. I know why you do what you do. I've worked with guys like you, and you're just a fucking piece of shit. So anyway, so then we traded that car into CarMax because I was like, well, I got fucked, so I got to fuck somebody else. But I fully thought that they would be like check it and be like, oh, well, it's got a transmission issue and like take money off, but they did not give a fuck. But then I remembered that when I traded in my car like years ago, they gave me like a quote for how much they were going to give me for my car. And when I was driving to the dealership to go buy the new car, my truck died. Like had to get towed. I had to pay to get towed to the dealership. And they still were like, yeah, we'll just still give you the same amount for your car. So I don't think they give a fuck. But anyway, so finally our car gets there. We ordered the car from Carvana, and we traded the other car into CarMax. So we sold 2 cars to CarMax. My mom's Subaru and our piece of shit Toyota Highlander. So anytime I say Toyota from now on, just assume I'm going to say piece of shit Toyota. I've now officially become that guy. Next, you're going to hear me screaming about the Japs and fucking Pearl Harbor. A goddamn fucking piece of shit Toyotas. So yeah, so then we traded in the car, or sold the car to CarMax, and then I just found a car on CarMax. So we're going to pick that one up today. Oh wait, sorry, I've completely skipped over a big part of the story. So we found a car on Carvana, and it shows up, and I get in, and I'm driving to go meet up with my wife. I'm like, fucking finally, like, I did this whole thing that, like, I set it up so where, like, so I made the appointments. I've been dealing with all this shit by myself. Like, my wife, I told her she was dealing with with the next thing I'm going to talk about here, but of course, I'm the one fucking dealing with it. So, and the house is a fucking mess right now because I haven't had time to clean up after these children, and they just do not clean up after themselves yet. And so, where the fuck was I? Oh, God damn it. What the fuck was I just talking about? I just went off on a tangent, and it fucked me up. Oh, dealing with the car. Okay. So, I've been dealing with all this shit with the car. So, we order the car on Carvana. And it's a huge process. So Carvana is like, they push through all the paperwork, all that shit. You do all that stuff. And then get to like the next step. And they're like, hey, just so you know, like there's an issue with your paperwork. So we've got to take the car on, put your car on a 24-hour hold. Once you get that taken care of, then you could submit your appointment and blah, blah, blah. So they kept trying to push our appointments back. So it got to the point finally where I'm just like, yo, like, I'm not pushing my appointment back. Like, I'm staying on the phone with you. Like, this is the second time I had to do this. At the dealership, I went there to figure this shit out, to try to get them to pay for shit. And it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm at the desk of the employee, and the guy's just like, yeah, the manager's at lunch. So I was like, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Why is he at lunch right now? I was like, that's ridiculous. I'm going to wait right here. You can go get him, but I'm going to wait right at your desk until he comes here. So he's like, okay. So then, like, he comes back. He's like, oh, he's just in the parking lot. He'll be out, and he'll be over in just a minute. I was like, all right, well, I'm still gonna just stand right here at your desk. So then that's when the big fat manager comes out, and he's like, hey, and of course he talks like a big fat person, you know. So I'm sorry if you're big and fat and you're listening to this. This is not directed at you, but this guy pissed me off, and he was big and fat, and it's hurt people. What are you gonna say? What are you gonna do? Anyway. So I told him, like, you know, I'm not fucking moving. So this is like the same situation. We're getting to the point where it's like, now this is the day where our car, it's like 4 hours from when we're supposed to get our car, and they call me again. Like, they'd called us a bunch of times. We're like, hey, this paperwork needs this needs this got fucked up. I'm like, why are you pushing this all through if it's fucked up? Like, call me and work through it before we get to the point where I have to go back and change a bunch of shit. Because this isn't like I'm just go in and change it. It's like I have to call my insurance, call this person to do this. So it's been a whole fucking nightmare nonsense thing. So I finally pick up this fucking car from Carvana, and I get in, I'm driving. I'm supposed to go meet my wife at CarMax because we're trying to sell the car to CarMax, and I'm going to pick up her, and then we're going to go home. And I'm getting there, and I'm almost 10 minutes from CarMax, and I'm like, fuck, this car smells like cigarette smoke. Like, they had done a good job concealing it, like, at the beginning. And then, of course, my wife, as soon as she gets in the car, she's like, it smells like smoke. I'm like, yes, yeah, it does. So then I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to have to do this whole process again then. And she's like, yeah. I was like, well, then you're going to do it. And then, of course, she just didn't fucking do it. And I was like, well, it's not going to get done, so I'm just going to fucking do it. And so now we're supposed to finally pick up our fucking car today. And the other car is supposed to get picked up tomorrow by Carvana, which I'm going to make sure I'm out there while they're picking it up, because these fucking retards will pick up the new car, and then I'm going to be pissed because they're fucking retarded. Even though their car says Carvana on it, I can almost guarantee you that just based on the minimal amount of interactions I've had with their employees, that they're all fucking retarded. CarMax has been a pleasure to work with. I'm not going to lie. Like, the difference between CarMax and Carvana has been crazy. Like, we sold a car to CarMax years ago, and I forgot, like, they gave us the most money for our cars. They, like, it's been the easiest interaction. They called us yesterday just so we didn't have to come in, because they were like, hey, just so you know, like, the time you picked to get your car probably won't work, because you probably won't have your registration done. Like, if you set it up for a different day with an earlier time, you have a little bit more time. But they were like crazy helpful. Carvana was just like, here, do this, and then we would do it. The big, sorry, you did it wrong. Like, you got to do it by this. They sent me a thing one time. It was like 1:45 p.m. They sent me a thing that was like, you need to upload this. And this was a new thing, because I just looked at my account like previously, because it was stressing me out that it was, you know, all the shit was having to be done. And so, you know, I look and there's nothing there. And they sent me a text message at like 1:45 or 11:45, 1:45. And it's like, yeah, you need to submit this X amount of thing before 2 p.m. or your car is going to get put back on a hold, and the appointment will get moved back again. So it did that bullshit. And then finally I had to call and be like, dude, I'm not getting off the phone with you. You're not moving my appointment. Like, we're getting this done with you on the phone. So I kept her on the phone for like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, just sitting there on hold while I was doing other shit. I was done with it. I'm like, I'm not letting you off the fucking phone. So yeah, that was, you know, it's been a nightmare. So I'm hoping that there's no issues today. We just go get the car. I got to go get my kid after this. We're going to go to the bank and hopefully take out a cashier's check. And then, yeah, hopefully we'll have a fucking car again today. And then we just got to buy a truck. We're looking to get a truck. So yeah, it's been a lot. All right, let me see what else I have, because I got to finish this up here. It's 45 minutes. We're doing well. Oh, nice. I still have plenty of time too. I still have plenty of time. I feel like there's some stuff I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, so this PlayStation Portal. So I bought the fucking PlayStation Portal. I should have done a little bit more research. That's on me. But I just assumed it's modern technology. I'm a PlayStation fan. I'm going to like it. You know, I had an idea that it like would have to stream on the internet. I knew that, you know. I kind of didn't even think about the fact that like it didn't have discs, but I figured it would pair with my PlayStation, which it's supposed to do. And then you can still play when you're gone or whatever, as long as your PlayStation is on rest mode. So we went on the plane, and that's like the whole thing I wanted it for, was the fucking plane ride. And, you know, it can connect to every other Wi-Fi there is, but then because the plane has like a secondary verification, it can't connect to the plane's Wi-Fi. And plus the plane's Wi-Fi was suspect. It probably would have sucked anyway. I would have paid for better Wi-Fi, but they didn't give us the option. They're like, here, you're stuck with this free shitty Wi-Fi. I'd rather pay for good Wi-Fi than to have somebody give me free shitty Wi-Fi. Like, free shitty Wi-Fi sucks. I don't want free shitty Wi-Fi. I want good Wi-Fi that I can actually use, because otherwise I'm just sitting there being frustrated with the fact that my Wi-Fi is not working the entire time. Like, I was trying to list things on eBay, and that was taking, for some reason, the photo uploading was taking forever. I don't understand why it was taking forever. So yeah. So I paid for this stupid fucking Wi-Fi. Because I'm like, or I didn't pay for the Wi-Fi, thankfully. That's right. It was free fucking shitty Wi-Fi. And so I start trying to use my PlayStation Portal, and it can't connect to the Wi-Fi. I'm like, all right, that's the issue number one. Then it's like, well, you can connect. I look online because I'm like, I'm still connected with my phone. So I look on the internet to see what I could do. Like, so it's like, you can connect to your hotspot. I'm like, oh, perfect. So I fucking do the hotspot, and it won't connect. It's like saying that the hotspot's not strong enough. I'm like, okay. So basically I have to use this on like my Wi-Fi at home, or like if I'm on vacation, the Wi-Fi at like, you know, for example, my friend's house. So I'd have to like play my game while being antisocial because that's the only place that I can play it. And yeah, so I was like, fuck this, dude. So as soon as I got back, I brought it to Target and I returned it. I returned the case. I've returned a couple things to Target this week. Target's been fucking up. Well, actually, that wasn't Target's fault. That was PlayStation's fault because that shit sucks. So I bought a slip and slide. It wasn't obviously a slip and slide. I think that name's patented, but same idea. And I put it out in like literally less than 5 minutes, and my kid's like, Daddy, I broke it. I'm like, how could you break it? Like, it's a slip and slide. Like, what the fuck? So I go over and she shows me, and there's like a seam. So like you have to fill up part of it with air, and then you plug the hose into it, and it like the water goes through. And so somehow the part with the air was connected to the hose part. And so when she like stepped on the air, which of course I just told her not to step on the side because you're going to pop it. And sure enough, she popped it. And so then it was only the water was only coming out of like one side of this slip and slide. So it was pretty janky. So I had to go back to Target the next day with it and be like, yeah, I got to get rid of this. I got to swap this out because it popped. And she was like asking me questions like she didn't believe me. I was like, I just bought it like 2 days ago. Like, what do you think you think my kid stepped on the side after I told her 3 times not to and it popped? Is that what you're saying, lady? Because it's like almost exactly what happened. But anyway. So yeah, I returned it. It was a fucking impulse buy, you know. I thought it would be better. I should have just got the Switch. But then I was like, if I get the Switch, I got to get a bunch of games. And it would have been like a $500, $600 purchase when all was said and done. More than that, because it's $450. Yeah, it would have been like $700 per purchase. Whereas the other one, it was just like, you know, $250 plus, I think it was $40 for the case. So almost like $300, you know, a little over after tax, maybe. I can't remember how much it came to. But I returned that shit. I currently have 2. So somebody bought these like fucking Titleist shirts for me, $100 each. They were brand new, sealed in the package. They took them out. Fucking and then they took like almost a month to send them back. So it's like now that golf season is like, you know, officially like almost, you know, to the middle of it, they sent it back. So like, here, you can sell this now again, which is fucking annoying. So I discounted 50%, you know, because they opened it. It was sealed brand new, and they fucking opened it out of the bag to be like, oh, this doesn't fit. And they opened both of them. They weren't just like, oh, let me try one. They're like, let me try both of them. And so now that money is on hold from eBay for God knows what reason. My other listing still has not been, my Mosquito Head listing still has not been like approved, or the appeal hasn't even been sent to me. Like I can't stand eBay. The fucking customer service at eBay is so terrible. So fucking horrible. Like, you give me the option to hold funds from a transaction, but then when I do, you're like, we're going to put those funds on hold. Sorry. Like, why do you even give me that option? Like, what do I have to protect myself with on eBay? Like, nothing. So it's crazy. I had 1,200 to 1,400 items on my eBay. I have 200 items on my eBay now. 200 items on my eBay because of it's explicitly because of eBay's customer service with their sellers. I would have so much more stuff on there if I could trust this fucking company to ever have a seller's back on anything. but they're just like, nah, we could give a fuck less, bro. Fuck you. So, I'm really over eBay. I've said it before, and I've slowly taken stuff off there. But then again, it's like I sold something the other day, which, I sold a hat for $175. I'm still, waiting for there to be an issue. I'm sure there's going to be an issue, and eBay's going to go, oh, they can keep the hat and your $175 for whatever fucking reason they think of. So, fuck eBay, fuck Toyota, fuck that fat fucking garlic bread, flatbread eating motherfucker. I'm sorry. It's just like, fucking A. So, yeah, summer's coming up. Let me see. Oh, yeah, I did some sales before I left. So I did one. There was one sale that was like earlier on, and I went there, and they had a bunch of stuff. They had a bunch of CDs. So I got a bunch of CDs, and her prices were crazy low. That's always a fun one. And so she was telling me, because she was like, she had a bunch of Disney stuff. And so she was telling me her son is like a DJ, or not a DJ. He's a podcast host. Jesus Christ. A podcast host for like one of Disney's official podcasts. I was like, damn, that's fucking nuts. His name is like Rhino or something. I've never heard of it because I'm not a weird Disney adult, and I would never listen to a Disney podcast. That's just me. But I'm sure it's a very good podcast. I mean, it's got to be. It's Disney. It's Disney proper. You know what I mean? But she was like, yeah, if you ever go to Disney, man, hit him up and tell him, you came to my yard sale. I'm like, is that going to actually work, or am I never going to hear from him? You know what I mean? I'm sure he appreciates his mom trying to set strangers up with free hookups at one of the biggest corporations in the fucking world. But they had a lot of good stuff there. And then I went to, where did I go after that? I went to this other sale. I basically stuck around my hometown. I think, is my kid yelling at me again? All right. She already shit and pissed, so she can wait another minute while I wrap this up. So then I basically, I had my kids with me, so we stuck around my home. We went to one sale in the town next door, and then we basically just stuck in the same town that I live in. So we went around there. And there was a sale that I hadn't made it to yet, but my buddy texted me from there that this like cool bike. So I went there, and they were asking like $5 on it. So I paid for that, and it's like a $300 or $400 bike. Then they had a PlayStation 3 backwards compatible, and they had a whole bin, like 2 totes of DVDs. Like there was anime in there. There's like kids ones, Marvel. There was Blu-ray. Some of them were sealed. So I was just like, how much for the whole shebang? Like, so I made a deal on that. So that was a good sale. It was like a really, really good sale. And then like, but that was like Saturday. So I had to bring everything in. And it's just, when we got back, our basement was just like a mess. I've been slowly cleaning up the basement, because then we did a Whatnot show Monday night. So we got back Sunday, did a Whatnot Monday. Did a Whatnot Monday night. And then, no, was it Monday night? Or was it last night? What was today? I don't even fucking remember. No, last night was Tuesday. Yeah, so it was Monday night. It was Monday night. So we did a Monday night Whatnot pop-up. And then we have a show tonight, because our Thursday show, we have to go pick up our dogs tomorrow. So we moved the Thursday show to tonight. And it's just going to be everything. We've got like a bunch of different shit. So we're doing that tonight. I might do a DVD sale Friday night, depending on how exhausted we are. But that'll be fun if we get those 3 shows in the week. And then next week we can focus on some other stuff. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up this podcast today. I know it's probably a little bit shorter than an hour, just because I'm going to have to cut it up and edit it, because I got up for a minute. But again, thank you for listening. If you enjoy the show, like, subscribe, follow, whatever, hit the notifications, leave a review, tell everybody why you love this show. Follow me on Instagram at Perry Flips with a Z. I have not been very consistent on there as of like the last week. I need to be more consistent on Instagram. But it's just frustrating, man. It's like I've had Instagram for I don't know how long, and I just have been so bad at it for so long. It's like I try different things, it doesn't work. I don't try a ton of different things, but I know it's just consistency, and I just need to get consistent, and I'm not. But it's just, So anyway, new episodes of this podcast. I'm hoping that we can be on track. It just takes a lot longer to upload the podcast with video. And so typically if I don't get to it until, like, I don't usually have a chance to sit down because I finish it and then I got to leave to go get my kid from school. And then by the time we get back, it's pretty late. But today I'm hoping that, because we're doing the show tonight, I'm hoping that I'll have a little bit of time before we run to go get the car. So I'm going to try to get this uploaded and at least started to go, so that way I can have it up for tomorrow. But it's a whole process to fucking do the video now. So just be patient. Eventually I'll have it, and I need to eventually hire somebody to help me with something. Something's got to give. So that's the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Again, I'll be back next week, and make sure you check out the show tonight, and hopefully it's up by tonight, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you so much, and we will talk to you guys later. I'll talk to you later. Who the fuck is we? Me. I will. I'm the guy.